right, let's make social media check-in sexy, Julian, the tricaster guy. Can we make social media check-in sexy?
I'm about to travel overseas to work, but I'll need to pass through the U.S. I have been denied a visitor's visa before for someone suggested I use a transit visa. However, I would like to spend a few days to meet family and friends and do some shopping. How long does a transit visa allow me to stay in the U.S.?
About 24 hours or less, basically overnight. I don't think you're going to be able to transit and come visit and shop, but if you can, I like to shop too. Take me. Right?
Next one. Yeah. I'm having, they're a little worried. I sent my citizenship application last March. Now I received an interview for next month, but I had 2 DWIs after sending my application. First, one determined traffic infraction, no conviction. Second one, I am still going to court. What do you suggest for me? I am
traffic
not convicted
violation? These are all
to any crime.
These sounds like all traffic violations.
2 DUIs.
2 DUIs. What state is this? We don't know.
Magic 8 Ball.
Well, generally speaking, and I'm talking in generalities because I don't know exactly what's going on in your particular case, but generally speaking, I've said this before, DUI is not a inadmissible or deportable offense. DWI is. There's a difference in driving under the influence versus driving while intoxicated. Driving while intoxicated is obviously a higher offense. It's either because you have multiple DUIs or it's because you were so intoxicated you were like, slumped over the wheel or something. So, but it depends state by state. So if you're found guilty of DUI, and I'm talking about generalities because I need to see your specific state, state and see exactly what you're found guilty of. But in general, DUI is okay, DWI is not. Now, recently, the U.S. attorney, I call him Porky, most people call him William Barr, he came down with a decision because he can overrule Board of Immigration Appeals as the head U.S. attorney in the United States at the Department of Justice, and he said DUI, even though not inadmissible or deportable, is bad moral character. So if you have a DUI, you would not generally now under this Porky rule, right, you would not be able to do your citizenship.
Oh wow!
Or you would, or it would certainly be harder to become a citizen with a DUI.
A problem.
Yeah.
So there's that. Alrighty. For my I-485 application, I interviewed in April of 2018 and just got another letter saying I am to appear for an initial interview. Is this a Stokes interview? What should I expect? I'm scheduled for the interview on the 13th of February.
Yeah, I think she called on the phone. When you get one interview, it's generally not a Stokes unless you're going back with the same spouse for a second time. Generally, when you get called in for a second interview, you're getting separated. That's the general rule.
Alrighty. King TV asks, I am a green card holder. I had a possession of drugs, paraphanelia, and was paraphanelia.
Yes.
And I was dismissed. And would it affect my citizenship in 5 years?
As long as it was just paraphanelia and it was a one-time offense, you've never been arrested for anything else, I think you're entitled to a bad day, and it doesn't make you a bad person.
Okay, Tiger Gaming asks, my friend accidentally claimed to be a U.S. citizen, but he fixed that. Would this create any problems of naturalization process?
Yes, because you don't accidentally claim to be a U.S. citizen.
I was going to ask, how does that happen?
It's not an accident. Okay, so yeah, if you make a false claim to U.S. citizenship for a benefit, it's a big problem. You should go see a lawyer.
Alrighty, Giovanna Plummer asks, how can a naturalized U.S. citizen lose their citizenship?
You committed fraud in the naturalization process. You really, the only time I've ever seen cases or people who are serious aggravated felonies and lied about it and slipped through the cracks and became a citizen. I've seen those people get denaturalized. I've also seen Nazis get denaturalized.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, you got to have some serious offenses and lied about it to get denaturalized.
Oh, there's that. Vernal Chambers asks, can I petition for my mom and my brothers and sisters? We have separated fathers. If I can they come with her?
No, you would be filing for your mother. That's one application. You would be filing for each brother and sister separately as separate applications, as long as you share the same mother or you share the same father and can prove that you had a relationship with that particular father, then they qualify as a brother-sister. They would not come the same time. They would come differently because a brother-sister takes about 12 to 15 years. Filing for a mother's about a year and a half. If these children are under 21 and 10, 12, 14, 15 years old, the faster way is file for mom, let mom come up, and then turn around and file for her kids.
How many people can a U.S. citizen petition for? This is just me now.
Every family member that you have that you qualifies as a family member, you can file for as long as you have affidavits of support for them.
Nikki Williams asks, if you got arrested about 5 to 6 years ago and it was a misdemeanor and you got married, can you sponsor your spouse who's in Jamaica?
Yeah, as long as it wasn't for child sexual abuse. When the only time U.S. citizens can sponsor family members is when it has to do with sexual abuse or abuse of a minor, because then the Child Abuse Act comes into effect. And what was the name of the kid who they named it after? I forgot all of a sudden now. But the child abuse case comes into effect, and you need a waiver to prove that, Adam Walsh, you need a waiver to prove that that you're not in danger of being with this sex offender. Problem becomes that you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt, and there's no way in the world that you would ever be able to prove that. Even if you go to a psychologist can't say, well, I can't tell you 100% that this person's going to be safe. So Adam Walsh waivers become very, very difficult, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. But outside of that, you could be a murderer, you could be a convicted of drug sale, trafficking. As long as you did the time, you can file for your spouse.
Well, Sarah Johnson asks, is it better for a U.S. citizen daughter to file for her siblings who are in the U.S. and below 21 years old, or should I, the mother, wait for her to petition for me and then file for my children? This is very similar to
I think it would be faster for you to get a green card and turn around and file for your children.
Perfect. Anne Marie asks, hi Brad, you were just speaking to someone wanting to have a nanny from Jamaica. You said yes, it takes 2 years. That was yesterday. Can employers in the U.S. sponsor an immigrant that's undocumented?
They can, but the problem becomes, how do they ultimately get their green card? Are they eligible for 245I, being grandfathered, meaning that they had something filed before April 30th, 2001? Can they get a provisional waiver to go home and come back? So not everyone out of status can get sponsored by an employer, because you have to either be 245I or be eligible for the provisional waiver. Other than that, you're getting sponsored but nowhere to pick up your green card.
Noted. Aku Aki asks, can my spouse submit I-130 petition week or two after I applied for the I-539B1 extension?
No, because that would be a misrepresentation. You can't say in one application, I'm coming here to visit, and then 2 weeks later have your spouse file for your green card. You're either visiting or getting a green card. Right. So if you filed the I-539 extension, you got to wait how many days? Nesquik, would you think? I've said it a million times.
Pop quiz.
Pop quiz, Nesquik.
I want to say 15 days.
Wrong. It's 90 days you got to wait.
Almost said 30.
Yes.
Still would have been wrong.
Still would have been wrong.
Zanique Fraser asks, if I apply for the VAWA and do not show up to testify in trial, would that deny my application?
Well, certainly it's not helping.
I mean, I would have.
Yeah, it's not helping.
That didn't sound like it would help.
It's not going to help.
And Samantha Murara asks, hi, in case of divorce, the immigrant can be sitting on the couch and the sponsorship has to support her till she finds a job. What are the real sponsorship obligations?
The sponsorship obligations are to support the person 125% above the poverty level for 10 years or until they become a citizen.
Wow. Well, Tammy King asks, I filed for my husband in October of 2019. We received a yellow courtesy letter saying we have not done the medical. Does that mean all paperwork is good, or we just need the interview?
All the paperwork's good. Just bring the medical to the interview. Alrighty.
Tamika Walker asks, I would like to know if you're married or and divorced
I am
before...
yes, I am married and now divorced. That is very true. That is a true statement. I was
Let me
married
finish
and
the
now...
que-
I thought you were asking
Let
me
me
my...
finish the
I
question,
thought you were just
Brad.
asking a personal question of Brad. I just want to know, Brad, were you ever married and divorced? The answer is yes.
I would like to know if you are married and then divorced, I assume.
Oh, she's asking for herself. I thought
For
she was
herself.
I thought she was asking
It's
for me.
about you, Brad, but this is
Okay.
not about
I
you,
see.
Brad.
So, such an ego, this Brad Bernstein always thinks all the questions are about him.
Sheesh, get it
Yeah.
together, Brad. Putting any paperwork is considered not married at all?
No, you're married and divorced.
Yeah, that's what I would like to know. If you are married and divorced before putting any paperwork, is it considered not married at all?
No, you are married and divorced. You went through it. You can't say I was never married.
Is that considered not married at all?
You were never not married at all. You are single and divorced.
Need to know marital status.
Because on every immigration application for family-based, they're always asking, tell me about your prior spouses.
I want to give this question the benefit of the doubt, and I am understanding that they were once married, now they're divorced before they filed paperwork. Should they even mention that they were married at all? In case I'm reading the
Who's
question
they?
wrong.
I don't even understand that.
Tamika Walker is married. She's divorced before putting in paperwork. Is that considered not married at all?
No,
Just in case I'm asking it wrong.
It's considered you were married and divorced. When you were never married at all means you were never married at all.
I'm the messenger. I'm making sure no one shoots the messenger, okay? Alrighty, and next one is my wife is immigrating to the U.S. Our 3-year-old U.S. citizen son is coming with her to the U.S. for the first time. For DS-260 applicant children section purposes, is our son immigrating or not?
Immigrating.
Alrighty, last one, Nikki Williams. If you got arrested over 5 years, can you sponsor a spouse? The case was dropped as a misdemeanor and 6 months probation and haven't been arrested since.
Rewind about 5 minutes ago. I gave a whole explanation about Adam Walsh and sexual abuse and everything else.
As long as it's not a sex case,
correct.
You're good.
You're good. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.